Michael,
Okay.
hello. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Okay, everyone, as I told you over on the webinar, we ran into technical difficulties. And
Very
as a business owner,
nice to have
yeah,
you.
as a business owner, you have to learn how to pivot when things go wrong. So here we are.
Exactly.
I did send out an email to all of our other people who were signed up to join, so hopefully they can join us.
Sweet.
I see we have a lot of people already. So I'm just going to get started. So, hey everyone, my name is Shaylee. I'm the founder and CEO of GlowSys Social Marketing Made Easy for Estheticians. And today we have the absolute honor and pleasure to have with us Michael. So, Michael, we're so glad to have you here.
Thank you for having me, Shaylee. I'm very excited.
Yeah, so if anyone doesn't know, which I'm sure everyone who's on here knows who Michael is, but Michael is an esthetician and an acne specialist from back east. Michael, you're in the medical director for a clinic over there, right?
Yes. Yeah, right in Philly.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, as you guys I'm sure know, he has a huge following. He started from zero and grew his Instagram account to 11.2K followers, right?
Yes. Yeah,
That's
you got
incredible. Very
thank
incredible. So one thing I kind of want to just point out real quick is the reason why we are hosting this webinar and kind of how it came to be is right now the doors for enrollment are open for socially empowered estheticians. It's an online course that is self-paced, and it is the step-by-step guide to attracting and converting clients organically on social media. And so in honor of this, a celebratory thing, I really wanted to bring some of the top industry leaders in the social media world for the aesthetics industry, and hence why we have Michael today. So if you want to, Michael, should we just get diving in? Should we
let's
get
go
started?
ahead. Yeah,
Okay,
let's
perfect. So first, I guess, let me just back up real quick. I want to kind of tell you guys exactly what we're going to be covering today. So first, we're going to go over how to grow and foster a large, engaged audience on social media through relatable content, which Michael is a pro at. Tips to overcoming your fear of showing your face and your true self on social media so that your business can thrive. We're going to learn Michael's best kept secrets to creating kick-ass social media content.
yeah.
And then kind of as a bonus, Michael's going to tell us his secrets to how in the world he stays consistent on social media while balancing his job and life in general. And then at the very end, be sure to stay till the very end. There's going to be an extra special bonus for everyone who stays till the end. So, all right, Michael. So how long did it take you to get from 0 followers all the way to over 11,000 followers? And kind of take us through that journey if you could.
Yeah, so I've been licensed. I got licensed September of 2021. So I've been licensed for a little bit over a year. And social media was always something that I wanted to kind of like dip my feet in and like start to get going. And so I thought like what better time than at the beginning of my career when I'm not too busy. So the first few months were definitely like really slow. It was not easy. I didn't have really like an idea of like what kind of content I wanted to like put out. So in my opinion, the content that I was putting out in the beginning was not the best. But it was definitely something that as I got used to it and as I was getting people kind of on board, it was easier to figure out what they liked, what I was better at performing than other areas of content. So it's been about a year, but it's the first few months were a little bit tough, but now I'm starting to get a little bit more traffic than where I started at for sure.
Well, I mean, growing it to over 11,000 in a year is a huge thing in itself. So congrats on that. And I really liked the one thing that you said about figuring out what people want to see and
Mhm.
also combining it with what you're good at. So I think sometimes a lot of us try to just post what we're good at and what we like, and we
Mhm.
forget about what the audience wants to see. On the other hand, we go so far out of our comfort zone trying to do what other people want to see that it just feels and looks unnatural. So I
Yep,
think that's a really great point, is really combining the two so that you feel confident and comfortable and your audience is getting a lot out of it as well.
exactly. Absolutely.
All right. So the next question I have for you is, what is your number one tip to other estheticians when it comes to fostering an engaged community on social media? So how do you get them to interact with your posts, to like, to comment, to share, to take action on whatever you're trying to get them to do?
I would say the biggest thing is definitely consistency in like literally everything you're doing. So social media is not something where you can like pick up your phone and like put content and then like put it down for like a couple hours or a day or 2 days. It's something that you kind of have to like figure out how to stay on top of. And also like it's a community, so you definitely like want to comment other, like engage with other accounts, definitely like build relationships with other people, but also don't there's something Brock Johnson, who is a really amazing content creator, gives really great advice. He calls it posting and ghosting. So like don't post and then like forget that you posted it. Like stay engaged with your post, or it's not going to reach as many people as it has the potential of reaching. So definitely consistency 100% in everything you do as far as social media.
And you know, that's really great. And I find it kind of ironic because as estheticians, you preach consistency, right? You preach consistency to people trying, trying to clear their skin or do whatever. And so, you have to do that as well in other areas of your life. And I think yes, that's a key thing. And about like posting and ghosting, that's so true. I think sometimes people forget that you can't just create great content. Like you could have an incredible piece of content that's just absolutely amazing and post it. And if you just end there, it's
Yep.
not going to go anywhere. Like you can't
Exactly.
post great content and expect people to come to you. You have to put yourself out there. You have to get yourself seen. So that means, like joining other hashtags that your ideal audience is searching for, that they're using, and going and interacting with those posts to get like your account out there. And people eventually will be like, who's this person that keeps liking my post or commenting on my post? And they'll go to your account, and then,
Yep.
your content will speak from there. So that's
Exactly.
great. Just one, I'm reading the comment real quick. Do you have suggestions on what to do if you follow the suggestions but still struggling to gain followers? I'm going to save that till the end and we'll go over that because that is a really great question. All right. Next question is, one of the things that made your social media presence so successful is its relatability, right? So your audience is mostly made up of other estheticians. Obviously,
Yes.
you have other followers as well, but your content speaks to other estheticians. So what do you recommend to other estheticians who are trying to speak to their audience in like a relatable way when creating content? Because yes, you're trying to reach estheticians, but the methods translate. So if they're trying to reach actual clients, what would you suggest?
Yeah, I would say reaching out to potential clients is like something that's definitely an opportunity for myself, but you still have to find, like for me, obviously, like posting esthetician related content is like my most comfortable or like easiest way for me to be relatable. But also like there's still so many people that are that want skincare education, right? You have to find a way to kind of make that skincare education relatable. And I don't think like sticking to esthetician only content is, or you definitely don't want to stick to esthetician only content, but producing only content, it gives your account versatility, and that you'll still reach other accounts even if you're producing esthetician content. But yes, you definitely want relatability in your skincare education, because if you make it, fun education, it's easy to retain, then a lot of people that are interested in skincare are going to find it and like it and share it, and then you're going to reach more people that are not necessarily skincare professionals.
Right, exactly. That's so true. And it's funny you say that because inside of socially empowered estheticians, I take the students through figuring out what your dream client looks like. And the more you can understand the person you're trying to reach and know, what their hesitations are, what their reservations are, you can overcome those and be able to sell to them without feeling spammy. And so, one of the things that I also talk about is if you create content for your dream client, so to say, other people, like you said, will follow suit. They're going to be attracted to your vibe. They're going to be attracted to, the content. Even though you're not speaking directly to them, they're going to connect to you in some way, shape, or form. So yeah, just creating a content that's relatable, other people will follow in, and that's, ultimately how you'll grow your audience.
Yep, absolutely.
I see a lot of other questions coming in. Keep putting your questions in the comments, and then at the end we will go through and do a little Q&A. All right, next question. So you are obviously a natural on camera. People really love watching you on camera, but there are a lot of people who aren't super comfortable on camera. So have you always been that comfortable, or how did you, I guess, gain your confidence to show your face and show your true self on social media?
Oh my God, thanks. It was definitely, it was not easy in the beginning. I did a lot of musical theater in high school, so that is like where I guess my comfortability in like being a complete fool came from. But it's definitely like, I feel like consistency is definitely going to be a theme in this phone call. Like, it was very overwhelming to look at as a big picture in the beginning. And I wasn't like 100% comfortable putting myself like out there in the beginning. Because our inner saboteur, mine personally, it was like, I was like trying to perfect everything. And then it was coming across not organic. My boyfriend was like, why do you have no emotion? You always have emotion. So it's definitely something that you just have to like go out and do, and you'll get more comfortable as you do it. And like produce content that maybe is not in the very beginning, just to get you a little bit more comfortable with posting content. Like stick to I guess what you're comfortable with, and then when the ball gets rolling, maybe that's a good time to jump out of your comfort zone. You'll definitely need to go out of your comfort zone, but you don't want, if it's going to overwhelm you to the point where you're not doing anything in front of the camera, then that's the problem, right? We want to overcome that. So definitely figure out what breaks that barrier for you, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, I love that. I think that that's so true. And one thing that I really like to remember, and I'm the same way. I used to, be terrified to be on camera, but it's so true. The more that you do it, even if it's just a little bit at a time, like just a tiny little bit, it helps in tremendous ways. But the one thing that I really like to remember is practice makes progression, not perfection, right? So you always
Oh, I like
strive.
that.
Yeah. So strive for progression, not perfection, because practice does not make perfect. It really doesn't. You will never be perfect. If you're trying to achieve that perfect, social media presence, it will never happen. And you're really just setting yourself up for failure. And not only that, if you try to create like a video or a piece of content and you just want it to be perfect, you're ultimately not going to end up posting it because you're conscious about or self-conscious about that. And then that turns into analysis paralysis, where you're just never going to post anything, like you said.
And you're definitely setting up yourself for failure if you want everything to be perfect, because it's not going.
Exactly. Yep. So practice makes progression. You will continue to keep getting better. All right. So let's see what else. Do you think, okay, this kind of feeds into it, but do you think it's important to show your face and personality on social media? And like some people may just totally just not want to do it, period. Do you think that that's kind of like a make or break for your account and your success?
I don't know if it's a make or break. I've seen accounts make, like, if they just want a graphic design, like they can make it work. I haven't seen it often. So I definitely think that your presence in like your success at your account is definitely important. And sometimes like I just like I'm scrolling and I'm like I want to see who's like behind this account. So sometimes like from even being like a viewer, like I definitely want to see them more. But it's definitely not for everybody. So if that's not your niche, your vibe, like I'm not going to tell you like you need to show your face. But I think
Right.
you definitely like should challenge yourself to maybe find the comfortability to show your face a little bit if that's not your thing. I don't think it will make or break the success of your account, but I do think it will help a lot in the success.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. Just real quick, I saw a comment here, and I think it's important to address real quick. When this person asked, when y'all say content, what do you mean? Videos, reels, and not just images. So And I think
Every.
Michael and I are on the same page. It's everything. So
Hmm.
content is whether it's a story, whether it's a graphic, whether it's a carousel, an image, a video, a reel, whatever it is, anything you post and put out into the media world, that's content. So I just wanted to clarify to everyone, since we'll probably be talking about that a little bit later. Okay, so the next question is, how do you come up with your content ideas? Because I know I've heard a lot from estheticians that one of the biggest struggles they have is because they're so busy, they struggle coming up with actual ideas. So how do you do that? What's your process?
My process is completely chaotic, actually, I think, but it works for me. So you just had to find what works for you. I, if I wanted to, in the beginning, this is what I was doing too. I was like, okay, I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna make content. What am I gonna make?
Yeah.
And I like produced literal nothing when I would try to sit myself down. So I've kind of gotten into this groove where like every day I'm just like on autopilot, like just like if anything in like regular day life could potentially be content, I'll write it down on my phone. I'll just go to my notes pad, I'll write it down. And then when I do want to produce content, I'll look back at that list and I find that it's not as like forced or like not like inorganic. My friends back home have a joke because like if like a lot of my friends are funny, my friends are the best. And if someone says something that could potentially be content, I'll be like, could that be content? Like, how do I work that into
How
like a
can I spin that?
skincare reel? Exactly. So I just kind of like am open minded to literally everything that's happening around me, and if something, and it's not like don't like lose don't like not enjoy living in the moment. Like just
Mhm.
like keep it right in the back of your mind. But if you get an idea, write it down and then look back to it later.
Mhm. I love that. And so a few things there. I like how you said you keep like a notes app in your phone. So in my opinion, I always say ideas stay ideas unless you take action on it. So if you have an idea, you're probably like most people, you're totally going to forget. So having that and writing that down in the notes app is absolutely huge. The other thing that you said that is really key, I think, is finding what works best for you. So
Mhm.
there's an exercise that inside Socially Empowered Estheticians, we go through this exercise and figure out what your human design energy type is. And we really go through figuring out which energy types do well with batch creating all their content, or if you want to, or if you're better at writing all your captions one day, or just going with the flow like you. I think that's really important to know yourself so deeply so that you can set yourself up for success.
Mhm. I have literally like gone to bed and like laid there and like I'll get an idea and I will like rise right up and be like in the notes. In the notes, I have to put that in the notes.
That's perfect. That's awesome. Oh, and the other thing that I wanted to say is I guess it kind of depends on the type of person you are, but this kind of goes twofold. Like if you are the type of person that it would benefit you to create content just on the go, like whenever you think about it and stuff, and be ready to create content whenever you can.
Mhm.
For me personally, just literally getting up in like if it's a Saturday or a Sunday or even a work day, getting yourself ready. Like do your hair, do your makeup, even if it's just a little bit of makeup, you don't have to wear makeup. But get yourself ready, get dressed, because then if you have an idea, you're already ready. You might as well just shoot the content if you have 5 minutes,
Yep.
and that also translates into other things in life. If you feel good, you do good, you're more productive, things like that. So
I love that. I think that's a great point.
yeah. Okay, so the next thing is, let's see. What are your best tips to creating really good content? So, whether that's good quality or just good topics in general, what are your just best tips for creating awesome content?
I think we may have covered this a little bit, but definitely like please don't try to perfect everything you post because that was probably like the biggest roadblock for me personally in the beginning is I wanted every single thing that I posted to be perfect. And like even now, like the content that I think isn't gonna perform as well as some of my other things end up doing better than the things that I was like, this is gonna be great. So I really think like stay out of your own head as much as you can. It's unrealistic to say like to stay get out of your head because like I am with my inner savage power all the time. But you really have to stay out of your head as best you can, because like we talked about, like if anything is in the way of you just producing content at all, that is going to be like the biggest thing that's going to work against you, because some content is better than no content.
Yep.
So get out of the mindset that everything has to be perfect, because that will be your biggest enemy for sure.
That is so true. I mean, I look back at some of the videos and content that I created, like even just a couple months ago, and it's like, it's so cringy, you know?
Yep.
It's like
Oh yeah.
you can see like the progress, you know? And at that time, I'm like, oh, this is like badass. Like I know this is gonna do
Hmm.
so well. And now I look back like a
Literally.
month later, I'm like, ooh, yikes. So
Yep.
you do progress as you practice and things like that. Gosh, there was something else I was gonna say, but it totally escaped me. So anyways, yes, definitely just keep going. You'll get better. It'll get easier as you continue to post. All right. So the one thing that I think a lot of estheticians struggle with, and not think, I've heard this a lot, is, and we kind of have covered it, but I just want to go a little bit deeper into it. So especially solo estheticians who are trying to run their own business, they're juggling all of the hats. You know, they're the person that actually carries out the services. They're the bookkeeper, they're the admin assistant, they're the marketer, like they're everything. And then you have your life too, right? You have everything else in life. I think they find it really hard to try to stay consistent. It's super overwhelming, and a lot of pressure, you know, to be on social media and to try to grow your business that way. So what would a piece of advice or several pieces of advice to those people be, to try to balance everything?
So I can't 100% empathize because I'm not a solo esthetician, so I don't want to like try to act like I can completely relate, because all power to the girls and boys that make that happen, because I know that I haven't had the experience of balancing all that yet, so all power to them. But if I had to give any kind of advice, I would say, like, again, kind of what we discuss is find what works for you. I would say, like, give yourself, if possible, like at least 1 or 2 hours a week just to give to social media, and find like what your groove is. Maybe like what we talked about, if you get in the habit of writing ideas down when you think of them, then that 1 or 2 hours spent on creating content. Or if you're a planner, then maybe give yourself 1 or 2 hours to plan content, and then the following week that 1 or 2 hours could be spent producing content. It's all about kind of just figuring out like what is getting in your way, and giving yourself the time to make that happen. And not everyone has the time, or it might feel like we don't have the time, but if you want something, you'll make it work. And unfortunately, you might have to sacrifice something else that feels like a luxury, or that's something that you're, if you have like movie night on Thursday night with friends, like maybe if you want social media to work that bad, then
Yeah.
that's something that to give up. So it's all finding out like what works for you.
I think that's really huge too. And, you know, throughout that process, and really it's not just being a small business owner, you know, and it's like that in anything in life. You know, if you want something bad enough, you just have to do it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
The only, like, if you're an esthetician out there and you are watching and you already have a social media page, whether it's just an Instagram or TikTok or YouTube or Facebook or all of the above, you are already, you know, you've already started. You're there. You obviously have the drive, the passion,
Mm-hmm.
the want to make it happen because you have a page for your business or for yourself, right? So literally the only thing that is stopping you from, you know, reaching whatever goal you have, whether that's increase your followers or book more clients or sell more products, whatever it is, the only thing that's stopping you is you, because you've already taken that first step. So you have to, like Michael said, you know, maybe cut some things out in life, or, you know, rearrange your schedule, or instead of, you know, scrolling for 5-10 minutes at the end of the night in bed, start gathering content ideas and planning when you're going to record them the next day. So the only thing is stopping you is you, and you're already started. So why stop, right?
Exactly.
And the other thing to remember is give yourself, like, show yourself grace, you know, like we're not perfect. You're doing the best that you can. And, you know, even if you're really bad one week and you don't post anything, who cares? Just start again the next day, you know?
Yeah.
Don't dwell on the past. Like, yeah, you could have been maybe so much further, but you weren't and you didn't. So just start today and just start now. You know, I feel like that might be a little harsh, but just give yourself grace.
Yeah, we can be way too hard on ourselves, and
Yep.
it's something that a lot of us go through that we just have to make an effort and figure out how we can overcome it.
Exactly. And not only that, but like showing, recognizing, being grateful for where you already are. You know, like sometimes we're like, oh, you focus on the future, you wish you were this, you wish you were that, you wish you were further along. But look at how far you've already come. Like you've done a damn good job already. So just, you know, keep the momentum. All right. Well, Michael, do you have any like last things that we haven't covered that you think would be, you know, beneficial for everyone to hear before we get into the Q&A?
Yeah, I think the biggest advice that I can give for social media, and we said this before, is like just do it, and nothing like doesn't have to be perfect. You need to like any content is better than no content. Like that's something that we should definitely take away. So it's just kind of something that you have to start doing. When I was started doing it, like I said, like it was not what it was now. And if I had never taken the initiative, I wouldn't be where I am today. So you need to figure out, you know, set some time aside in your busy schedules and figure out how to make it happen, and then just make it happen. Like everything we do in life, you just have to do it. It's going to get much easier as you do it, for sure.
Exactly. Thank you so much. And you know, the other thing that I want to point out too that's really been a theme throughout the night is consistency. That's one thing to definitely remember. And coming from, you know, a marketer's standpoint, it may seem very overwhelming and draining and all of the above, very stressful. But the one thing that you can remember is there are ways to make it so that it's not, right? There's ways to help you stay consistent without draining yourself or, you know, like just running yourself into the ground. So one of those things is actually creating a strategy. So what types of content are you going to post? What's your goal of how many days you're going to post on what platforms? Figure out your strategy. Then figure out who you're trying to reach. Really try to understand who you're trying to reach so that your content can speak to that person. Then the next step is actually creating the content in a way that feels, you know, natural to you, aligned to you, whatever works best for your schedule. Create the content and then plan your topics out in advance. Some people this might work for. Some people like you probably just go with the flow and obviously you're killing it, but other people aren't like that. It really helps to plan what type of topics you're going to create content for the next month. And then, you know, the other thing that I really wanted to point out is one piece of content could potentially be 4 pieces of content. So if you create a reel, you can download that reel without, you know, any Instagram branding or anything and cross post it to TikTok, to YouTube Shorts, and to Facebook Reels literally within like 3 minutes. So you have to find ways to be innovative, to be able to reach more people with less effort. So work smarter, not harder sort of thing. But anyways, I just want to encourage everyone to just find what works for you, like Michael said, and just go for it. Like, what is stopping you? Probably yourself. So just start, right? All right.
Even if the content might not be the best, I'd still
Yes.
rather you post something than nothing at all. And trust me, I have posted some things that are very questionable, so you absolutely can.
Yep. And you never know, honestly, you never know what's going to hit in, like, you know, with people, what's going to relate to people. Like you could be like, oh, this post really is kind of crummy, but I'm going to post it anyways. And it could like totally blow up. Like you never know.
That happens. That really does happen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to get started with the Q&A session. This can be, you know, anything for Michael, anything for me, anything about social media, whatever. So the first question is, do you have suggestions on what to do if you're following all of these suggestions that we've talked about, but still struggling to gain followers? I'll start off with this, Michael, and then you can kind of jump in too. But there's a couple different things. There's a lot of things that go into whether a piece of content performs well or not. And sometimes it just performs crummy for no reason because, you know, technology or algorithm, whatever you want to blame it on. But most likely it's most likely the content itself. Do you have a strong hook? Like the first 3 seconds, are you really getting that person's attention and captivating their attention so that you can, you know, get them to watch the whole video? Is it good quality? Is it relatable? You know, is it really speaking? Is it something that you think people want to know, or is it something that people really want to know? So I think what you need to do is, number one, stay consistent. Just keep it up, because it might not be your content. Just if it's not working, just keep going. And number two, really go back to your strategy and your content, and really analyze it and figure out, is something here not working, and then start testing things. What would you, do you agree with that? You have anything to add?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say like sometimes it's even like we talked about, like staying engaged with a post will really like help it perform better. If you're like posting and ghosting, you know, you want to respond to comments and react to all the engagement that you're receiving so that you're keeping the post flowing. I noticed this was something interesting that I learned, but Instagram doesn't actually show every single one of your posts to all of your followers. Yep. So that's why it's also important to post more often, because you're hitting followers that you didn't hit with the last post. And then this follower might share this on her story, which might have reached this person, which, you know, and it keeps going and it keeps going. So definitely don't get discouraged if a reel doesn't perform well. It happens to all of us. And it's just something that you have to like, yeah, it might be the content, but definitely don't let it stop you from producing more.
Absolutely. And the other thing with that too is, you might feel like a broken record. You might feel like you're repeating yourself or being annoying to your followers, but that is not the case, because like Michael said, only a fraction of people, of your followers, will actually see your content. So if you post something about, you know, like the cleanser you love one day, and you post about it the same thing the second day, it's very likely that the person who saw post number one is not going to see post number two. So don't feel like you're being annoying. People are following you for a reason, because they love your content. And if they don't like it, they're going to unfollow you, which is totally fine anyways, because you want to have...
they can respectfully unfollow you. They don't matter. They don't have anything to do with the success of your page. So
exactly. And it's a good thing, because then it increases your engagement rate. So
Exactly.
Okay, let's see what else. Oh, this actually is great. I love how Michael actually replies to his followers, literally interacts. Exactly what you were saying. Yes. Okay. What if we are in something a little more serious, like I'm an oncology esthetician and posting a dancing video doesn't really match the vibe? Do you want to start that and then I'll feed in after?
I would say figure out, my phone. I don't know. I feel like the answer I give is not going to be as good of an answer as I'd want to give, because I can't 100% relate with that. But I would say like it's still trying to figure out like how to make that work as far as content. Or if maybe you don't feel super comfortable posting a funny reel about oncology. Oh my God. Like, what are some other things you do that you could make fun, relatable? And then oncology can be in your Instagram bio, so people still know that that's a service that you offer, but you're still grabbing an audience kind of in another direction. I don't know if that's a great answer, but that would be my advice.
No, I definitely agree with you there. The other things that I would add is your account. So for example, Michael's account is known as being humorous and relatable, right? He's known for that. There are other people that, there are other businesses that have brands that are more serious, or they're really all educational, and that's fine. And you can create content that fits within your brand, but still make it entertaining. You don't have to be dancing or doing something funny, you know, to entertain people. So for example, if you're more of an education-driven account, you can engage and entertain people by maybe doing like a skit, and not like a funny skit, but like act as if you're having a conversation with someone, but you being both people on each clip, and just talk to that person. And so it's not just like me sitting here talking to you, telling you educational information, because that's probably going to bore you. It just adds a little bit more of an entertaining piece to it, So you can figure out what works for you. But one thing that I will say is there's a statistic, and do not quote me on this, but there's a number, I believe it's like 78% of all social media users want brands to be humorous, because people want to be on social media to be entertained, and humor is a great way to do that. There's one brand, and I cannot remember the name of it. They have a huge mascot that like is obsessed with Dua Lipa. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? Super random.
I know who this is.
I will think of the name. It's a, gosh dang it. It's a brand or a company that teaches Spanish, or teaches other languages. Anyways, they were known to be like a really serious brand, and they were struggling to grow their account. And as soon as they added in like a mascot that just does funny things, their account exploded over like 3 million within like a few months, like a year. I don't even know how long it was. But just know that if you're humorous on social media, that doesn't mean that you're not a serious, that you're not taken.
Yeah, you're not a serious service provider. You definitely can.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that.
All right, let's see. What else do we have? I'm so worried about crossing the line between being professional and being relatable. I don't want to overshare or cross that line. What's your advice for that fine line? You go ahead.
Yeah, I personally don't post anything. I mean, that might be up for interpretation for other people. But I personally I don't post anything that I feel crosses the line. As long as it's not making my potential clients or current clients uncomfortable, or I don't want to insult my clients or anything like that. Like, for example, I just posted the Close Your Eyes reel, and all of the clients that I have, which is not many people do that. They know that we laugh together about it. It's not like I'm going behind my client's back and making fun of them. That's not what I'm doing, and that's not what you should be doing. If you feel like there's any potential that you're insulting a client, I just would probably stay away, or like figure out how to make it like not that like that, and maybe like a little bit more innocent and funny and sensible. So if you like, when you are posting something that you don't 100% think is appropriate, or would be comfortable if one of your clients saw that, then I would just say stay away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm actually really, really glad that this question was asked. I might be getting a little bit controversial here, but I think it has to be said, and it might be like some harsh truth that people need to hear. But I really agree with you. I personally have seen a lot of estheticians who who participate in trends, and it's relatable to other estheticians, and it comes across as off-putting to clients. I think that sometimes within an industry, you start following trends that everyone else is doing, and it's okay to a certain point. But I've seen a lot of, I'm not going to point anyone out, but there are a lot of reels going around where even something as simple as, clients being late or not showing up or things of that nature, it might be funny and it might be very true and it might relate to other estheticians. But if a client were to see that, the tone of the reel, they might be one that was late one time and they really didn't mean to, but now they know that you don't like it and that you're calling them out sort of on social media, and it could cost you clients. So I agree with that, is just really figuring out the tone and being very cautious of what you put out, and not just following the trends of other estheticians blindly, I guess, so to say.
And sometimes you might genuinely be like, is this offensive? Is this not offensive?
Mm-hmm.
Ask people who aren't service providers, hey, would you think this is offensive? If I'm like, there have been one or two times where I have been like, could this be offensive? I definitely don't want it to be offensive, but I don't want to take that chance, right?
Yeah.
So I asked my boyfriend, I asked my friends, just like, just because someone's not an esthetician, like, those are probably your best bet, because they don't know what you do. So ask your friends.
Yeah, exactly. And even if it's not offensive, it might just turn people off in a way, and if you want to create that type of content, create a separate TikTok account and do all of those things. And you'll, you know, I'm sure you'll blow up with other estheticians, right? So create a separate account if you want to do that, because it's still great to do and connect with other estheticians.
Absolutely.
Just be cautious. All right, let's see here. Someone said the police car video was the best.
No, thank you.
Michael, do you believe in the Instagram algorithm, or are we just not posting enough? That's a great question.
I feel like we touched that a little bit, but yes, at first I was like not like skeptical, but as I've been like doing it a lot more, I definitely think that there is, and maybe I don't have a complete understanding. So if I'm answering, like if I'm not giving you the right answer, then I'm so sorry. But definitely, like I said, like Instagram will not show all of your followers, all of your posts. So I definitely think that you have to post as often as you can. No, I wouldn't probably suggest posting like 6 or 7 times a day, but I also don't think posting every day is too much. And I know a lot of people that would argue and say that that is too much. Like we talked about, the person following your account that saw this post yesterday might not see this post tomorrow, and then it goes all different kind of directions. So also see like when you're getting a lot of traffic at certain times. I know for me, I don't 100% remember how to check the statistic, but for me it's like 10 to 4 is like my sweet spot, and that's different for everybody. So just play, if your profile is set up for business, you should be able to see a lot of your analytics and just play with it, and then you'll figure out, you know, when is a good time to post, what days is a good time to post, and just make sure you're posting.
Yeah, and definitely test different times too, you know, test in the morning, test at night, just start testing things out. And one thing that I want to mention is I totally agree that posting every single day is not too much. It's never too much. Yeah, 5 to 7 is overboard for sure. But also I don't want that to discourage the people that, you know, all they can handle is three posts a week. That is great too. If that's what you can handle, do it. So don't feel like you have to post every single day. I mean, of course, you're going to grow faster if you post more. That's just the reality of it. But if you can post 3 times a day or 3 times a week, post 3 times a week. And not only that, but if you have a solid strategy and you're producing great content, that will help even more if you're only able to post 3 times a week, you know. With the algorithm too, I feel like people blame the algorithm a lot, to be honest. Like, oh, my post tanked because stupid algorithm, you know. And honestly, I think that a lot of people need to be more reflective because, yeah, you know, the algorithm does only show it to so many people, but the algorithm also rewards you if you're on the app more, if you're engaging more, if you're keeping people on the app, it's going to reward you. But also don't blame it because you might be able to create, you know, maybe you should go back and create better content or better hooks or more engaging captions, things like that. So yeah, it can be to blame for a little bit of it, but it definitely can't be to blame for all of it.
Yep, I completely agree with that. I think that's a great point.
What do you do on the days that you feel stuck, not motivated, or just not your best?
I don't produce content because because for me, if I don't feel motivated, then there's no point in wasting my time because I'm not going to come up with anything. But that's why I keep that list of ideas as I get them, is because when I can sit down and make content, I have a list to look to when I was in a different mood and I was feeling inspired and I was not, you know, not my worst. So yeah, don't feel like you have to produce content if you're having a bad day, because you're probably not going to produce the best that you could produce. So don't waste your time.
And it'll show through your content. You know, people will see it. They'll know,
yeah.
You know. So yeah, don't force it. Okay, Shaylee, any chances you could skim through my Instagram and see what I may be missing? Okay, so I am not taking one-on-one clients. The reason I'm not taking one-on-one clients is because when I was seeing one-on-one clients, I realized that there are so many other estheticians, whether they're in school still, solo, working at a med spa or clinic, and they want to grow their accounts, but they cannot afford to hire a social media manager for $1,500+ a month, which is what I was charging more than that each month. And I wanted to be able to help so many other people who can't afford that. So I dedicated my time to creating a self-paced online course where you will be walked through exactly the step I would take if I were to be working with you one-on-one. Of course, you'll still have support. You actually get access to an exclusive Facebook group, which I interact with as well. So if you want help with your account, the best thing to do is to take my course. And it's open for enrollment right now. The doors close on Wednesday, so be sure to get in before then. Okay, we already covered how often do you think you should post. Of course, you know, as much as you can.
Mm-hmm.
All right, sorry, timeline wise. Okay, there's another question, Michael. Timeline wise, how long do you guys think, or how long did it take to get a good following? So go ahead, Michael.
No, you're good. I definitely would probably, I don't know, I would give yourself like deadlines if it motivates you. So if you're like, I want to hit this, I want to be here at this time, and that's going to help me get there, then go for it. I wouldn't necessarily like, everyone's timeline is different. And also that I feel like if I give you a specific timeline, then you're going to compare your success or your building a following to what I gave you, and I don't want to like deter you from like continuing to produce content if like you're not reaching the number that I gave you. So I don't want to give you a timeline because every timeline is different. I think giving you a timeline is going to motivate you less
Yep.
down the road. So I can't give you a timeline. I would just say give yourself goals. Say that you want to be here at this time, and like we discussed, like producing content is better than producing not. So that kind of starts with you producing content to kind of get an idea of what goal is realistic and when that goal should be achieved.
Yeah, I love that answer. And you know, he's spot on. You're spot on. Everyone is different. Everyone's going to grow at a different rate. The one thing that I will say is definitely manifest it. You know, if you want,
Yeah,
like,
I
set a
love
goal.
manifesting.
I do too. I actually have a whole lesson in Socially Empowered Estheticians about manifesting. Like we go through this like visualization process and everything. It's really fun. But like choose a number. Like if you want to be at 5,000 in 2 months, don't even think about how you're going to get there, the logistics, any negative thought that comes into your mind. Just throw that out. Even if you may deep down think that it's unrealistic, say you want 5,000, write it on your mirror in your bathroom, put it everywhere that you can see it, and literally your subconscious mind will help you, you know, take actions to get there. So manifest your number, and you'll probably get farther than you've, you know, ever thought. Maybe not as fast, but you'll definitely get further. And one other thing that I want to say is don't, like, followers are not everything. Don't base your success on followers. You could have 10,000 plus followers and literally book 0 appointments, sell 0 products, and someone who has 300 followers but a super engaged community that they speak really well to, they could outsell you any day. Like they could be bringing in product sales every single day, booking every single day. Don't focus on the follower count for sure.
That's such a good point. Sorry to cut you off, but I just
No,
had
you're
to
fine.
engagement is way more important than followers. Engagement is everything. If you have 100,000 followers, but you're getting 3 likes and you have no engagement, you're getting no clientele, then like I'd rather have 5% of that follower count if I was getting more engagement and interacting more with my followers. So definitely don't look at the number of followers. Engagement is the sweet spot. It's where you really want your success to be in, is engagement.
Yeah, absolutely. How do you handle estheticians near you viewing you as competition when you don't feel that way and you just want to be nice and be friends?
What's my favorite saying? Community over competition, I think rings so true. If I saw estheticians as competition, I would not be a good esthetician. And I've had experiences where, you know, I don't know how to put this, but I've definitely had experiences where like I wish on their end that they were taking advantage of our time together or the moment and not quite seeing it that way. I walk into every experience I have that I'm fortunate to have with an esthetician, and I really just take complete advantage because I'm a newer esthetician. I don't know everything. I will never know everything. The best esthetician will never know everything.
Yeah.
So even if you're further in your career than an esthetician that you might be having a conversation with or maybe be working with, they might know something that you don't. So you really have to just take advantage of your time. Don't look at other estheticians as competition because you will only plateau your own success and you will only get in the way of yourself.
Yeah, I agree. And like, she asked, how do you handle them? How do you handle it? So I really think like you're just going to have to get over that you can't change people. If
Oh,
someone's
I
going
would
to see,
let it go. Pay them
yeah,
no mind. Just
exactly.
do your own thing.
Yep, focus on yourself and your growth. And I'm a people pleaser, so I can totally relate to this, like to my soul. I want people to like me. I want people to be friends with me and stuff. But in the end, that does not have any weight on your success. So you just have to focus on yourself and do the best that you can. And I'm kind of going to be a little controversial again. No, you don't have to treat other estheticians as your competitors, but from a marketing standpoint, you do have to know what sets you apart from other
Mhm.
estheticians so that you know how you can position yourself in the market to be able to ultimately, book more clients, sell more products. But just because you figure out what your unique selling point is over your competition doesn't mean you have to be competitors with that other person, right? So having that fine line, and yeah, just worrying about yourself.
And that's what's great about being an esthetician is there's so everyone can have so many different niches, so many things that they're good at, so many things that clients love going to them specifically for. Like there just isn't room for competition because we're all different. We're all offering something different. We're offering different services. We're offering different
Mm-hmm.
people, persons. Like we're offering something different. So I feel like it's learn from your community, but there's no reason to compete.
Exactly, 100%. Do you consider posting to also be stories or just your main feeds? Definitely stories, feed, lives, whatever it is. Yes, that's posting. Let's see. Someone said, I just came across your ad. I'm an esthetician and I love your content. Thank you. I don't know who that was referred to, but thank you for both of us. Let's see here. Is there any self-help books you recommend? I don't know of any self-help books you recommend, but my course teaches you everything you need to know to, position yourself in the market, to build a marketing strategy so that you can, sell more products, book more clients with ease without draining yourself. So definitely doors are open for enrollment for that. So go check out my profile there. Someone said, highly agree, community over competition. And I love that. Yes.
Yeah.
That is all the questions that we had. Does anyone have any last minute questions? We are like almost right on the dot time, so that's perfect. Michael, do you have? Oh, there's one. What are some trending services you can offer to stand out in the industry? I'll let you go with that one.
I definitely think everyone should be dermaplaning. But that like advice that I've gotten in the past is like don't try to do it all. Just figure out two, three, four, or five things that you are so good at and put all your energy to being the best at those five, however many things, right? Don't try to do, one thing because Sally down the street is doing it too. If you don't want to do what Sally down the street is doing, is then you're not going to be able to put 100% of your energy into it anyway. So do what you're passionate about. I feel like I'm going off topic, but
No, it's fine.
definitely, I can't like say like a specific. I mean, I don't know why dermaplaning came to mind and then I said it, but whatever you are passionate about and what you're best at is probably the service that you should be offering.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great question that I definitely could not answer. So I'm glad you guys you did. Okay, so just to recap some of the key points, key takeaways, and Michael, chime in if you want to, but consistency is everything, community is everything, content is 50%, community is 50%. You can't have one without the other. Um, you know, analysis paralysis, throw it out the window, just start posting. The only thing
Mm-hmm.
stopping you is you. You have anything that I didn't cover that you think should be said?
Just do it.
Just do it.
Nike, Nike, just do it.
Just
Get
do
out of your own way. Get out of
it.
your own way.
Exactly. All right. So for the secret bonus, spicy bonus at the end, I want to gift all of you. Well, it was going to be very exclusive to the ones who joined the webinar, but since we had, technical difficulties and we had to pivot, I'm going to give it to everyone. So for the next 1 hour from now, so until 7:30, I'm giving everyone $250 off my course right now for the next hour. You will get the course, you will get lifetime access to the course, plus all future updates. With that, I'm also extending all of the bonuses. So you will get a 30-minute one-on-one coaching session with me. You'll get 3 months free of my daily content subscription. So every single day I send you 3 ideas that you could post on social media. I give links for inspiration, templates, you name it. And I will give everyone 10% off lifetime all of my future courses. So that's going to be email marketing, it's going to be paid ads, there'll be a DIY website course, you name it. So anyways, for the next hour, everyone gets access to that. I'm going to go post that on my story. I'll post the link since yeah, we had some technical difficulties. So go over to my profile, you'll see the link and you can take advantage of that. Michael, do you have anything else to say?
No, I think that's a great thing that you're offering. I definitely think with the help of you, there is no excuse not to produce content. So I would say definitely take advantage of it. It's something you're thinking about.
Thank you. All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. I will be posting this on YouTube. So if you didn't get a chance to view it, you can go back and view it and I'll let you know when it's up. Thank you, Michael, so much for taking your time.
Thank you so much for having me.
Pleasure. All right, everyone, have a great night. See ya.
Thanks, guys. Thank you, Shaylee.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thanks.